Yeah, hello and welcome to this IFT research call. Today we will give an update on de-MLS, focusing on the multi-steward aspects. Thanks a lot, and the stage is yours.
Thank you. Today we are going to talk about the latest improvement. So here's my outline. So I would like to just recap of MLS in message layer security and the early effort on the MLS with a single steward and with consensus, and then the latest improvement multi-steward and the two types of big consensus and the small consensus types for the different requirements of for the group messaging application. So the MLS message layer security is specified with the IFC 9420. Actually, message layer security is the scalable group messaging standard, which is actually, we can see this as a efficient group key generator with the very scalable feature, and scalable up to 50K users because of the 3CAM, and I will mention about that, how it's possible. And it's secure by forward secrecy and post-compromise security because of it. The tree has the ratchet form, so no one can go back, no one can go features, and end-to-end encrypted and asynchronous. You don't need to be online if you want to just apply for a group or for the kicked out. You don't need to be online. And as a drawbacks, it's federated by servers. MLS is designed for the servers, server-based approach. So even if the server sometimes is not trusted, transparent, still we have some federated architecture here. So MLS benefits the tree formation. This is not a real tree. The each participant, you can see from A to D and goes like this. And each person, of course, holds some private keys, and then there's some common private keys. For example, the participant A holds their own private key, which is only known by A, and the second key it's just known by A and B, not C, D, or any kind of them. And as you can understand, the latest one is just for the group key, that everybody knows about this private key, not anybody from these participants. So it's efficient. It makes the MLS efficient. For example, if the keys are held by not in the key formation, like in here, there's no any kind of formation, and each users obtains their own private key, so it requires the only operation to update any key. For example, if C wanted to refresh their key, or we just add the new user, or we just remove the participant C, we need to update all other participants one by one, which makes this ON. But in here, since these and these are common, so we have only for the log n operation, log n changing. For example, C is only sync with B or E or one of this group to get this key, and this eventually just update the new for formation of tree. It can be change, addition, removing, or updating, refreshing key. So it's designed for operate with the central servers, because besides these good features of like efficiency, and this holding this state requires some drawbacks. For example, the transport of messaging needs to be operated by the servers, because otherwise it should be some additional stuff to be consensus on the same structure of this state. And commit and group changes, updating state, still again done by servers, because if there is no any kind of this kind of servers, it should be the different updates in the tree, so it still requires some additional works to protect the same state here. And also requires some validates the key packages, maybe the creation of key packages done by servers, and protect spam is easy to protected by servers. So the early effort of de-MLS, we just proposed de-MLS a while ago, and it's a decentralized version of the MLS, which works in P2P networks. Of course, we need to add some consensus here because of the holding the single state for everyone in the participant. So we can just formalize the de-MLS is equal to MLS minus servers plus consensus. And we understand the decentralization here in the two parts. One for the architectural part, which is the shift the architecture from server-based to P2P, and secondly, the governmental side. And the original MLS IFT does not impose any kind of the governmental stuff, so everyone can just create groups, so everyone can just add another user, everyone can just propose the remove someone. So it needs to be specified in de-MLS because of it requires some needs to be defined with the consensus for everyone. So we can have the chart here as a recap. So transport messaging is done by server and clients, especially DS delivery service set to in the MLS IFC. In the MLS, we use P2P, and our efforts are in the two categories: one for IFC, one for POC. Our IFC is agnostic. It could be any kind of P2P messaging application layer, but messaging layer. But in POC, we use Waku. So each pairs are Waku nodes. Commit message done by servers in MLS. In the MLS, we have new terms, which is a special member of the participants named Steward. Steward is actually is the transparent actors that makes changes in the group because of you can consider this as a sequencer because since there is a structure form of the state, so it needs to be changed by the single person. So this is the steward, but the steward not means that they just update the changes as he wants. It actually needs to be determined with the result of consensus. So we just choose the steward name and helping the passengers without the authorization here. Key package creation in MLS, the key packages are created by servers, and then it's just transmitted, distributed by the server client architecture here. And of course, it can be implemented as the key packages also created by the users, then transmit and distribute the servers, but this is in general. Again, in the de-MLS, each peers creates own key packages and send them to the steward. MLS or de-MLS not impose any kind of the protecting spam, but the spamming is preventing spam is sent server-based architecture is easy. And in the MLS, since we use Waku, especially for POC, we need to use ILN. Message ordering and MLS uses again server, but the MLS we need to have some consensus on it because of there's some changes, time changes on some network delays. It needs to be robust about this ordering. The censorship freeness is weak in MLS because of its federated architecture. Even if the multiple servers, you need to have some chance to refuse by the servers. But in the MLS, since it's mostly much more transparent, especially for the group keys, is encrypted. I mean, the transparent for all participants, and the censorship-free feature is much more strong in the MLS. The single steward, as I already defined the steward, and the steward only apply the changes with the voted proposals. If there's no voted proposals and still there's some effort by the steward, so we said that, okay, this is malicious activity, which I will also mention about in further of this presentation. So yeah, we need, as I said, we need some consensus. IFC is agnostic about the consensus, so it can be anything. But since it's not like exactly like blockchain, we don't use the proof of work or proof of stake or any kind of version of it. So this is actually very simple. Gossip-based voting, just result yes or no. If you see that, I just marked some important features here. We have the payload here because we need to use the consensus with the different extensions, not only for the commit messages, but also some steward election, and also the emergency criteria that in case some malicious activity. We have some votes. Votes are just yes or no coming from the different participants, I mean members. This consensus needs to be finalized in certain time because of the MLS works on the epoch base. So each epoch there's a different state of the key formation, which protects the forward, which provides the forward secrecy and post-compromise security. So it means that if the consensus exists one epoch time, so it's not good because it needs to wait another epoch. So it needs to be finalized a certain time, which should be one epoch or not. We also add the Linux criteria here to not hold the messaging application. For example, if this is default by yes, if there's silent nodes in the P2P, and we count this node as yes. If we just mark this no, I mean false, we just said that okay, this silent nodes counted as no. And if you want to, it's highly flexible. So according to the needs, for example, if the group is just a very important group, it's better to mark it as no because you don't want to join someone that you already not okay with that. But for example, if there's an ecosystem group, so it's very huge, and also you are willing to add someone in the ecosystem chat, or you are willing to say that okay, this can be yes, because even if there's some silent nodes, you can just say yes, even if you are not involved. This is not also for of being offline. It's also for some network delay. If there is the huge delay more than the epoch size, it means that okay, your count can be yes or no. So each vote consists of a yes or no, some proposal ID that belongs to this proposal, and it has some hash of the previous one. It just protects if there's some conflicting votes, they can just eliminate this kind of stuff. And since it's BFT, it's also tolerate and over many conflicting or the silent conflicting votes more than the silent votes. And also there's a signature here, so we can just verify that who just sent this vote. So we can be sure that the owner of the vote. The consensus. This consensus inspired by the hash graph which is the gossip base, and there's some hash of it. And if there's a yes count in here, so it only requires the 2 and over 3 distinct vote. And if the yes vote or no, of course, is a majority, so it means that there is no possible that there is any peer that obtains the vote no. So if it means that if there is a peer that obtains vote yes, so we can just say that okay, no one can obtain no. But of course, they can just miss some. They can be offline. They can be just have some network partitioners or something. They can just have no any kind of vote, but still we know that there is no vote. There is no voted if there is the result of yes. So it's a decentralized, so don't require any kind of decentralized consensus here, but yeah, this is also specified in IFC.org there. Here's a flow for the single steward one, and they all start with the steward just join the welcome topic. We have especially two topic, welcome topic and the chat topic, and the steward just joins the welcome topic and initialize the group with some parameters. It's same as with the MLS, but we have much more config, like about the steward size or etc. Then, and when the steward just initialize the group with himself, they just created the group announcement GA messages to the group. The GA group is it includes to group details, so it also contains some parameters that any user from outside of group that create key packages with that. So let's consider that there's a user, and in number 4 wants to join the group. First needs to subscribe to welcome topic, which is the permissionless topic. So every node can just every node just can subscribe to topic in plain text, and then J privately just create the key packages. And then this key packages needs to be transmitted to the steward with an encrypted form, and then the steward just collects and validates the key packages here. And then it's not enough because it needs to be voted before committed. So since this is the only person here right now, the steward just creates the voting proposal here. So let's assume that we have any other participant here too, because of the voting needs to be meaningful. And also, not only steward, everyone can just initialize a voting proposal here. The voting proposal is actually the normal application MLS messaging here, because there is this is different with MLS proposal. Eventually, we have two different special message, MLS proposal and a voting proposal. And MLS proposal is a special message for the MLS proposal, MLS for, while the voting proposal is only the standard and usual application of MLS. Because MLS, when arrives an MLS proposal, it needs to be committed. So if this MLS proposal is not committed, and it needs to be halted a little bit till this proposal committed. Since we don't know that this every proposal is voted or not, so we just specify another special message for the MLS, which is basically an application of MLS, which is a voting proposal. So if there's a voting proposal which is voted by no, so there's no matter, because since it's just an application message of the MLS. So any party or the steward can initialize a voting proposal here. Voting proposal includes the new users information, and also maybe the key package, and then it's voted as yes or no. And once we assume that the consensus is finalized as no, so we just drop this voting proposal, and there is no any kind of joining participant of this participant. So this can be possible because, again, the voting proposal not block the MLS like MLS proposal. But as a second option, if the result of the proposal is yes, we said that okay, the steward can just collect these yes voted proposals and create two messages: the MLS proposals and the commit proposals. According to the MLS RFC, we can have at the same time with the MS proposal and the commit message, and then send and create the two different messages. One for the new joiners, because these are all done by in epoch E. So because of the security reason, the steward needs to be prepare the the new user and the existing members at the same time for epoch E+1, which is it sends welcome message to the user. It also contains the epoch E+1 formation, key formation, which is 3 and some common keys, and also sends a commit message to existing members. So eventually, when the new joiners get this welcome message, and also the existing members get this commit message, eventually they just obtain the same state and same key, so they can just get the same group key, and they just match in the same formation that they can all communicate. So this is one flow, and this is for the single steward. But in the future, we just rotate the steward. So multi-steward is based on heavily based on the single steward here, because even if we have the multi-steward, each epoch needs to be handled by the single steward, like sequencer manner. And single steward is good, but it has some defects. For example, some drawbacks. For example, the censorship resistance and liveness. Because if you have only one steward, and if he is malicious, and what can we do? So there's not much of things to do. So we need to have some multi-steward. So for multi-steward, the main question is how a self-steward could handle the state operations one by one. So to answer this question, we have 3 extensions here. One for is predetermined steward ordered list, and every epoch every end epoch we have a list of stewards. It's actually similar to the proof of stake, is especially for Ouroboros from Cardano. Between the 2 blocks, we have many epochs, which is each epoch we can just handle by the different steward here. So this list can be proposed with any member in the group before this special epoch comes. And it also needs to be finalized via consensus, because otherwise, there could be some disagreement between participants, which result the state partition, which we don't want it. For example, let's assume that we have some members just propose the one steward list for the n epoch, and this n needs to be a parameter in the config file that the steward just creates the MLS group with this number, and then let's assume that our current epoch is n. So it means that we have 2 stewards here, one for the epoch steward. Epoch steward is basically the steward that needs to be responsible to create the commit messages, which is the more responsible here. And we also specified a backup steward in case of there's some epoch steward malicious activity. So we need to just shift 1, and we just the backup steward will be the epoch steward, because for the next epoch. And maybe the one question can be arised that how we determine this list. Especially, there might be some good, strong randomness consensus for everyone, like distributed verifiable random functions, but it's a bit expensive in terms of it requires distributed key generation, and since it's MPC tool, it's heavy and requires many back and forth. So since the mail is a little bit lightweight, we just make it optionally this to enhance with the random choosing. Of course, it's somehow required, because if there's some malicious subset of the steward, they can just be the 1 by 1 and in a row. So it may cause a big difference in here, but essentially it's hard to create the verifiable randomness. For example, if you can create the one list, this is random. It's hard to create evidence that you are just pick all those stewards randomly. So, but still, this is ongoing. If there's some lightweight random ordering here. It can be good to mention here. And second, the partial answer is expanding the consensus capability here. Normally, we had just one, which is the commit proposal coming from the single steward, which is all commit must be voted before the committing. And we have two more in the multi-steward, which is the steward election proposal, as we talk a little bit. After that, the steward list is proposed, like a normal proposal. We need to have some consensus here to make it determined. And third one is emergency criteria. Let's assume that there is a malicious steward. Also, we just also specified that what can be these activities. I will also mention in the further. So if there is occurred this kind of malicious activity, still it needs to be voted, because otherwise it needs there's some state partition. So all the members needs to be clear about this steward is malicious or not. Our consensus mechanism is flexible for this because of this payload. In this payload, we can just say that, okay, we just found this steward as malicious, so please vote that. And there is three type of this proposal payload here. So we are and also we are considering to giving some priorities. For example, the steward action proposals in also emergency criteria is much more important than the application layer or some changing state of the MS3. And deterministic slashing, like by using the emergency criteria, when for applying to be applied emergency criteria, we need to have some deterministic slashing. Because since we are in the P2P architecture, we want to benefit the peer scoring, and because of that, we want to benefit the good score peers, and also we need to add the additional commit for the next epoch if there's a malicious steward here. It means that the next epoch contains the kicked out this malicious steward, since we can just continue with the backup steward here. And then our steward ordered this is shift by one, and the previous backup steward will be epoch steward, and the previous steward needs to be backup steward again. Of course, we need to have some fine tunings, for example, some edge cases. For example, if there are more than one malicious steward here, we need to in a row, so we need to shift and shift again. So we need to find the optimal solution for that. And so it should be deterministic activities to vote vote that, okay, this steward is malicious or not. The first one is a broken commit. Broken commit is especially can be arise that the commit message and the proposal MLS proposal not match for here. For example, the MS proposal can be the A is removing. If the commit message is B is removing, they are inconsistent. So we need to everyone can just every peer just understand that and identify this as malicious activity here. And secondly, broken broken MS proposal and the voting proposal. For example, if there is a voting proposal as the A is joining, and if there is a different MS proposal, so still there is a malicious, this is malicious activity. And censorship and inactivity here, for example, if we have some voted proposal here, but there's no any kind of action by the current steward, I mean the epoch steward here. So there's the censorship and inactivity here, so we just count as the malicious activity. And also unauthorized steward, since there is all steward needs to be needs to serve in order. If there's no order steward that creates the commit message, we can also consider the slash this, because of the in this case the participant cannot identify which a commit message needs to be applied or not. So yeah, this can cause some dispute. And of course, the members can also behave maliciously. For example, just to try to just cheat the groups, but this is still ongoing. How can the member can be malicious still under ongoing definition in here. And finally, we just according to requirement, we just see that that it can be two type of the multi-steward decentralized MLS, the big consensus and a small consensus. The big consensus means that all group changes and all steward consensus and all emergency consensus needs to be applied by all members, which is even if your group is big, like a 50,000, you need to, even if there is someone to remove from group, it requires the very big consensus here, which may not be so appropriate, right? So, but it's good for the small but very needs to be secure groups. It's good. So in here, both they have some steward steward list here, but in small consensus, the commits only done by the stewards. For example, in the every end epoch, the members just identifies the single unique steward list, and then till the next end epoch, all just the stewards just applies the commit messages. For example, again, if you have some 50,000 groups, very huge, and you have just only the 10 steward and maybe 20, so the consensus only done by among these 1 and 3, a very small subset, which saves the many network resources from the channel topic. And also steward consensus all the time needs to be all the members because it's a little bit huge, but still, of course, the consensus limits criteria can be really important here. For example, if the group is sensitive, so we need to just mark these limits criteria as no, because if we just kick out some members from steward, it requires all consent, all idea of majority, and vice versa, the other side. Otherwise, an emergency consensus can be there's a star here because I just write is all members, but maybe it's can be among all members, because if we just trusted the subset, the small subset of the steward, for sake of the efficiency, we can just delegate this information to the emergency consensus to the stewards. So this can be also be flexible. So, but eventually, if you have a very big groups, and of course it can be relatively less decentralized in terms of governance, you can just use the small consensus. But if you want some decentralized group, but much more more decentralized, but it requires the relatively small groups, so you can go with the big consensus here. And current problems and the future work. So for now, the MLS provides the asynchronous operations for everyone because of the sake of the storage features of servers. But the current de-MLS single steward or multi-steward has no determined buffer storage for offline users. But we can consider to use the local store codecs to, for example, and the one user just applied for a group, create a key package and send, but just became offline. So since this user cannot get the welcome message, so he cannot he can just miss the welcome message, so he can just miss the group joining here. So, but if we have some buffer via the local store, the codecs, even if you are some offline for a time, after you can just come back again, so you can just sync with the Waku store or the codecs or the decentralized storage, get and recover your session here, and then update and continue to your messaging again. Otherwise, you just skip. You can just miss the message, and you cannot restore your session back again. And determining the priorities between the messages and consensus. Some of the consensus are very important. For example, the choosing steward phase, we can consider to freeze the all application message until the steward list are chosen. So because of without choosing the steward list, there is no meaning to having some changes on the group, like removing or something. Also, it just can create some incentivization to people to vote for choosing steward here. So this is still ongoing. Key packages issue in MLS. MLS I see a little bit agnostic for that, but this is fact that the key packages needs to be used one time. Otherwise, the steward can just impersonate some other people, even if not can read the messages, because since the steward has no private key by receiving these key packages here, but still they can just create and just inject some users who is impersonating the real owner of these key packages. So for this, in the future, we just wanted to use some on-chain operations, but it's really hard to delete. It's not feasible to delete the key packages from on-chain, and it's very bad. It was a very bad idea, but this needs to be. This is open problem right now. And some fine-tuning edge cases. For example, if there's some more than the one steward, or if, for example, if there is no enough person for being the steward, then it's in the config file. It needs to be handled, identified, then handled edge cases. Since the POC also implementation is ongoing, so we are seeing that if there's some issue from the implementation, it's also reflect we just reflect these new ideas to the RFC ASAP. Yes, this is all from my end. Corey, I saw that the consensus research here. Actually, I checked a little bit. It has some lightweight and BFT malicious tolerated research here. Yeah, I must check before I'm writing this gossip base hashgraph like consensus. But yeah, thank you. Yes, if there's any question, comment, always welcome.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Thank you very much. Yeah, if there are no questions right now, maybe some will come up. So one thing I wanted to ask is about the next Epoch Steward. That's kind of similar to block proposers, and you also get this block proposer denial of service privacy issue. Like that might be something to look. Did you like? I know that's not the focus, but just wanted to ask if there's been some discussion around that.
Yeah, you mean that if the Epoch proposal has some attack like the DOS attack, right?
Yeah, so there was yeah, exactly here. Yes, so like if you basically if you can identify who EN is, and then you DOS them, that is kind of the same problem like block proposers. Yes,
but there's a difference with the block proposers here. So normally the block producers works in the permissionless network. In the this needs to be visible by just on the MLS group. So for the huge groups, yeah, it may be possible to some attacks, but somehow it's a permission in the network. Only the group who knows the group key, I mean the previous group key, they can see all the messaging application and MS proposals. But yeah, if there's a huge group like a 50K, it's very possible to those attack the Epoch Steward. For this, there are some privacy preserving techniques. I mean, like secret erection methods in here, but it has a little bit, it might be a little bit heavy because of we don't want to lose the MLS lightweight and efficiency. But yeah, still it's good to work for the big, especially for the big groups, to the Epoch Steward risks.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point in regards to like this is kind of a closed group. So all like a whole set of security mechanisms can be kind of compromised on within this group because it's protected. So yeah, a whole bunch of attacks don't work. That this is like a general thing that's also for like viewers and listeners that are not familiar with this. It's important to note because at some points it might seem there's like security problems, but yeah, this is like a controlled environment in a sense. But
yes,
so in this, sorry.
Yeah, and also we can just have a better capability of the backup steward here in case of there's some inefficiency of the Epoch Steward. So we need to good identification here. The Epoch Steward is the malicious for like inactivity or censorship, or it gets some attacks, or it's just a network issue. Since this all can be happened in the decentralized network here. In case of any kind of stuff, we need to maybe have a good, better capability of the backup steward here in case of any.
Yeah, sorry.
We also had the for consensus specific stuff. We had a lot of research earlier on in Nomos around Carno, which was an alternative consensus mechanism closer to PBFT, but one of the properties of it was that it was event-based and not time-based, which may be more appropriate for something like this.
Yes, as we need the time-based stuff firstly, and also I search for some efficient ones. For example, since Waku works with the gossip sub-base, so it's not so important, but even if we can work on the purely P2P network, so it just requires very close to log n because of this gossip base. It's randomly you can just create a proposal and send the two peers, and this peers just adding the new votes and send again. So when the peer just get the proposal and add the new one and send again, it's actually spread to existing ones, which actually its names virtual voting. So it makes any consensus very efficient. It's very closer to log n to cover all the network by n randomly. So that's why I would like, because MLS works in log n in terms of changing the group state. So if you want to use some heavy consensus in here, we don't want to lose the efficiency of MLS here. That's why we just seek the efficient one in here. But yeah, but in the future, we have some also, it should be in the open questions here, the messaging ordering. Since we are in the decentralized network, the proposal orders can be matter, right? For example, if there are two peers that wants to kick out the others, so if the first one just finalized, the first proposal is finalized, so this should be first in this settings. It's somehow the first finalized, first serve. So maybe we need some total message ordering in terms of the source time. Maybe it's still a hash graph like, which is like in here, provides some kind of the message ordering too, but This is just simplified form for fully efficient.
Yeah. So I would, if that's the case, if you're looking for lightweight efficiency, I would personally lean closer towards the Avalanche type consensus, which is we have a flavor of that. That's what Claro is.
Yes, exactly.
It's done quite a bit. So there's a family of those, depending upon the amount of leaderness ish, whatever phrase you want. How much of a leader you want in terms of consensus. So they have a leaderless form of this, which is the earlier versions, and then a leader-based one, which is closer to Snowball. And they've since, I think, done quite a few things there. But the hallmark of that one was that as it depending on your needs, it can be incredibly efficient and lightweight, getting global consensus via a local view. And I think that instead of having this kind of like heavy all-to-all communication that most PBFT has.
Yes. I come across the Avalanche once, but as far as I remember, which it was a little bit while, and this one works in log-n somehow, which just attracts me a lot. But yeah, it's good to worth to mention here. Maybe revisit again. And so we definitely require some leaderless one here, like in here.
Yeah.
Thanks for mentioning that. Yeah.
So first of all, thank you very much for the talk. It was fantastic. I think one of the questions I have is around, I'm coming from a little bit more of a standard MLS operating procedure. Does the MLS proposal aggregation happen similarly in this version of de-MLS, or is there changes how that happens?
Yes, very good question.
If multiple users want to update or rotate their key packages, that those could be bundled together into a single commit. I'm curious how this kind of impacts with the voting proposal and the gathering of those together.
Yes, very good question. Thank you. And voting proposals are MLS application proposals, so MLS application message. So there is no any kind of restriction here because these are just message chat message. But if, for example, let's assume that we have the 10 voting proposals in the epoch E, we need to combine all the one and just create the one single commit, because each commit message just change the all epochs. It means that if there's a commit message, we need to just close one epoch and create another one. But there's some restriction in the MLS proposals, especially in implementation. I think we cannot bundle the all kind of the different kind of MLS proposals here. For example, if there's some remove join proposals, maybe we can only bundle the remove ones and the remove ones and the joining ones. So yeah, this is so far we have some experiment like single. So yeah, we can see that the capabilities of the bundling issue in some this kind of experiments. But yeah, this is something that we need to focus on.
Perfect.
For key packages, I think key packages, yeah, the commit messages somehow contains some key part of the key packages because of sending the commit messages to existing members requires some key materials from the users to create the new state. So yeah, this is the same. Maybe it's come from the key packages bundling from the why we cannot bundle the MLS proposals with some conflicting ones.
Awesome. I think that clears it up. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
If no one has another question, I might jump in with a second one here about voting criteria. Is there any requirements from the protocols on how that voting occurs, or is that up to implementers to decide?
Actually, we just specified with these parameters because of again, this is this different RFC. We just import this RFC, which we just create the one, but the de-MLS RFC is agnostic, so everyone can just use any kind of consensus in here. Only needs to be Leibniz criteria to not hold the application, and it needs to be finalized in a certain time because of MLS needs to work on the epoch. So it must not be, it does not have to use the gossip based on, it could be anything. So yeah, but we just wanted to propose one consensus to not hide the efficiency of MLS. So that's why we just specifies and use this proposal and like this. And this is also, there might be some implementation changes here, but this is from IFC. So our POC is very close to this formation here. It does not require any kind of leader, and it cannot reduce to some conflicting results. As I said, if there is yes, if the one user just obtain yes, and no peers can just obtain no, or vice versa. And since Woku works on gossip subbase, we just repeating 2 times because 1 time is enough, because we can see all the votes in the group, but still in case of this some network issues or some stuff, we just wanted to repeat again. In totally we have 2, but still if there is time, like in the expiration time, for example, you are a user and you cannot get any kind of voting, so it can be possible. So still you can just repeat, you just send again to in case of there's someone sees that and get back you again. In terms of the expiration time, there's some backup solutions to, in case of there is no result for the particular peer here.
Thank you very much.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm back with another one. I noticed in the paper that was just posted about the RFC for the consensus mechanism, it says that there's a 2/3 supermajority required. Can you talk on just briefly the motivation and why that's particularly that value?
Yeah, it's actually based on the hash graph feature. If we can reach the 2/3 many voting here, even if we have we can consider that the n/3 can be malicious. So again, we can have some n/3 the honest peer. So it makes that we can handle we can have some solution without conflicting with the others. So I think that's why it's 2/3.
Perfect, thanks.
Because it needs to tolerate some malicious peers too. And malicious also can identify, because for example, let's assume that you can just we have two rounds in Waku. For example, the first time you said yes and the second time you said no, it will be visible here because you need to use the previous hash of it. So since the other peer get the all votes together, and they can just identify that there's some this not matching votes here, not matching hash here, so they can just eliminate your votes. So after eliminating this kind of conflicting votes, and the rest of it, it's just enough to having the single decision here. And one detail maybe about the Waku store. I don't know exactly the capability of Waku store here, but maybe we can just say that maybe the offline user we can cover like for 1 day or the 2 days or according to the local store capabilities here. So of course we cannot have the endless recovery here because of the P2P manner, and the local nodes or any kind of P2P nodes are lightweight. So we also expect the peers expect some, how can I say, being online as much as possible, and if there's some willing, if there's some, or help somehow the offline peers in case of especially for the mandatory situations, not like arbitrary. So, but we want to provide as much as better with the local store or maybe the permanent stores like codecs, since we can have, these are all the encrypted. We can also use any kind of decentralized immutable storage here, as far as I can see.
For this, I would actually suggest that we put this in an abstract way into the RC. So like just what type of storage interface makes sense for which types of use cases, maybe a suggestion section. And then for something like the chat SDK spec that can then instantiate these interfaces. So yeah, MLS would be part of the chat SDK, the IP spec, so to say, like a specification that explains how to use all these protocols together. And that could then spec out how the store would actually be used, like which store would be used. Yeah. And maybe we're already like thinking and planning regarding this, and maybe in 2 weeks we will have a presentation here about the chat SDK protocols. That would actually be amazing, like as a follow-up.
Yes.
Still need to get the confirmation here.
Yeah. And one point here, ensuring the key packages are only used once. Since the key packages are signed by the peers, even if we just wanted to set the mandatory of the fresh signature verification here, and so even if the malicious would just capture some key packages and try to use again. So if the timestamp of it, if it's expired, so the malicious cannot use it. Since also we need to also one of the open future work is integrating the wallet signature. I mean the with Ethereum account. So the key packages are signed by the Ethereum account. So if we just keep the short time, the expiration date, we can just prevent this multiple usage of key packages. But still, the owner of the key packages use the same key package again, even if the different groups. Yeah, this is another topics from about the key packages too.
Yeah, that's very interesting, actually. And also, the perfect forum here, presenting it in the research call, just also for the other attendees. Like, one of the things that I want to achieve with this call is to discuss open research problems. And we will also open a forum post after this and for further discussion. So that's actually the right place to put this. In that context, I wanted to ask if could you go back to the flow chart and like explain this this key the key package reuse the key package reuse, like the problem against like that people might be able to
for example,
and then also why this is not an issue with the federated version.
Yeah, for the first one, for example, let's assume that the real user joined the group with these key packages here, and then somehow it's removed, okay? And then since the key packages are still in this Steward, this Steward has the key packages, and maybe he just reused these key packages as this user joins the group again. So eventually, this is authentication problem, and it's a clear impersonation here. So the federated version, there's some the original IFC does not specify so much concretely, but the original IFC says that there is an AS. AS is authentication service, which verifies the key packages. So since we understand that the AS needs to consist of the some servers, for example, all servers, maybe some subset of servers. So if this AS is compromised, so this reusage of the key packages is reused by the malicious parties as the peers are still on chat. This is the issue actually.
Yeah, thank you.
Corey says that it is probabilistic. Yeah, actually this is probabilistic too, but if we it's very getting closer to log n, if we just repeat the process 1 or 2 rounds more, so it's there's the failing chance is decreased very, very low. So yeah, but still it's probabilistic because it's leaderless, fully decentralized consensus here. Thanks for mentioning this.
Yeah, so if there are no further questions, then are there any questions? No, sorry. Yeah, so again, let me thank you, Ugur, for this updated presentation. It's always like super helpful to get an overview over these protocols and also have the discussion. And yeah, Philip will open the forum post so that we can continue discussing, maybe regarding the key packages. And yeah, we for next for the weekend 2 slots, we don't have a fixed topic yet, but there are a few candidates, and one of them being chat SDK protocols, which will actually be amazing as a de-MLS will be part of this package of protocols. So then thanks again, Ugur. Thank you to the audience for the discussion, and yeah, hopefully see you all next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.